Seattle Sounders 2, Portland Timbers 2. And the two Western Conference rivals, Cascadia rivals, end up each taking a point, if you will, Russell. But not, both teams don't feel the same about the point.
No, not at all. You can look at Seattle, they dropped 2 points, and for Portland, they gained 2 points. You know, it's just how MLS ups and downs goes.
All right, so you're up 2-0,
Yep.
and kind of to your point, you're up 2-0. The Sounders, you look really good, and I thought they were able to kind of break the Timbers press, because both of these teams do, you know, are counterattacking teams. They're able to break the Timbers press. Leo Chu is, I mean, he's active, he's on the front foot, and he's pinching inside, which is putting pressure on the Timbers center backs, and as a result, you score 2 goals.
Yep.
And you go in at halftime up 2-0, but then disaster.
Yeah, and the part about his goal is that's when he picked up his first yellow card, removing the jersey, automatic yellow card in the MLS. It's a tough one. You're excited, and Coach Schmetzer said he's not going to pound on it. I'm sure he gave a very stern talking to, as you could tell, Schmetzer in the post-game press conference, and he didn't want to talk about it. Several follow-up questions were asked. He said, I'm not going to say what was said. It's been handled. He's a young kid. He's dynamic. He's excited, or he's exciting. And, you know, it was a mistake, but that mistake comes to bite you when in a ticky-tack, you get a second yellow card, just opposite on the left side from us. And from there, it's kind of disaster struck. You're down a man. Schmetzer said tactics didn't change from there, besides Morris being up top as the lone forward there, but they didn't go to 5 in the back quite yet, and then boom, quick back-to-back goals.
All right, so let's hear from Brian Schmetzer, and I think we have Alex Roldan as well, and a little cut from Nuhu talking about, you know, the loss here, and then he's going to the African Cup.
First half versus the second half, or the first half just in general?
Well, the first half versus the second half is one. Yeah.
Well, if I had to find a positive in the second half, it was the effort that the guys put in. Javi came on, did a good job. You know, Reed came on, Alex came in the midfield, which I thought was actually interesting, intriguing. Actually played pretty well in there. Nico came on, created some stuff. Knew whose effort, getting up and down. I know one time he was gassed, he couldn't get back, but the kid was trying to help us win games. Jordan playing 3 games in a week. We used to have to take him out of those situations. So, I mean, there's a couple of positives. The negative is that the guys put everything into the game and just give the game, just give it to him. That's the negative. And it's not just the defending or Leo's yellow cards. The second one was soft, by the way. I saw it. Very soft. The kid was going. He gets smashed by a guy that's 6'5", and Leo Chu's 5'7" and $125. But it's a team sport, and Jeremiah, if we had a really good first half, it would have been 3-0, and the game would have been over. And that's where I think that's where everybody's super frustrated.
Good old Lonzo next.
Thanks, Jordan. How are you, Coach? I know it's a tough draw, but I would like to ask you more about the first yellow card that Leo Chu got. It could be prevented and probably have a different result. Have you talked to him before to come to the press conference?
Yes, I did. And I addressed it in front of the team, and it's done. Issue done, taken care of.
All right, we'll come around to this side of the room. We're gonna go to Masvidal next. Mike's coming for you, Maz. Just bear with us.
Brian, I'll go with the frustration of not making it 3-0. I mean, what can you do with that, or?
Well, I thought we created chances. We just couldn't find the third goal. Roll has a chance. We get plenty of, half chances. Get the ball in their half, prime assist zone. I mean, we had some good chances. I'll have to go watch the tape to get a hold of all of the good chances that we had and all of the good stuff that we did in the first half. But yeah, 3-0 in the first half kills the game.
How'd you feel your center backs played overall?
Good. Jackson and Yama were solid, and like I said, Javi came on. Look, Javi's motivated. He had long-term injury. He looks fresh. I mean, they all played well.
Come around over here to Jose, and then I'm gonna go over to Zoom after that. Jada, Charlie, I see your hands raised. Thank you. Go ahead, Jose.
Tough into a difficult and jam-packed week. What are some of the things that, from a positive standpoint, that you take away from this stretch of games?
Raul scoring. All the stuff I said before in the previous answer, all of those. Good start to the game, on the front foot, good tempo in the first half. I mean, there are some positives, but just I can't quite comprehend them right now.
All right, Jada, over to you. Please go.
He brings joy to the locker room. He brings joy to himself. I mean, players around the world do that. So he'll learn from it. We're going to move past that very quick. That won't happen again. The throw-in.
Yep.
We just went to a 4-4-1. There were no change in any tactics other than that. I mean, keep possession, clear the ball. We were going to, see how the game went. Putting Jordan up front. Really, when you go down a guy, you got to bring another defensive player on. We elected to put Jordan up front. Those were the thoughts, but weren't able to get him in at time. I didn't want to go to back line of 5 that early.
All right, we'll come down here to the front row. We have 2 questions.
It's like Alex and Nuhu that can get up and down the field, and you have a point guy like Jordan. You can get some attacks going, some counterattacks. So the objective was to be a little bit more secure at the back and allow, Alex, Jordan, Nuhu, Nico, maybe they could create something.
All right, time for 1 or 2 follow-ups. Jeremiah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, was there any consideration given to pulling Chu off at halftime? I guess he had already been warned about a persistent infringement at that point. I guess just kind of going to the thinking on
That would have been a little harsh, Jeremiah. I mean, look, you guys, we can't blame the kid for the entire loss of 2 points. It's a team sport. Look, he knows better, he should do better. Okay, fine, fair enough. You know me, I'm pretty conservative. If I would have yanked him off, some people might have said, well, why yank Chu off? Okay, so it's always 50-50. I gotta credit the kid for the goal that he took, because we've talked about Leo Chu and his defending a lot. And he actually understood in that moment that his defending is actually an attacking movement when he pinched inside and he stole the ball. So he was excited. So he's going to learn from it. We're going to push past this. And the answer to your question in the 53rd minute, no, I probably wasn't going to sub him. I have a little more faith in him. You know, we were talking about it on the bench. When do we pull him? But, you know, not at 53.
All right, Jada, I'm going to go to you again. Hopefully this time without technical difficulties. Go ahead and ask your question if you're able.
I guess you kind of answered this, but I'm trying to know, you know, this playing, but I guess you against Charlie. It's like not explaining to
There's like some echo.
Yeah, Jada, go ahead and just try to text me your question and I'll see what I can do to get an answer. In the meantime, we can't hear you, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Maz, we'll come around to you.
Oh, what am I?
Brian, when the dust settles, do you evaluate this game as two halves? I mean, because just to your point, that 2-0, you were active, you're the front foot, you go up 2-0. And then there's the second half to where you're playing 2 down. Do you then kind of message those two a little different, but yet it's still a 2-2?
Well, that's actually a really good question, Maz, because again, I'll watch the tape, but I don't think the first 5-6 minutes of the second half, we came out very sharp. There were a couple loose balls. I don't know. I'll look at it, but I didn't think we were really sharp coming out at halftime. The learning curve there is 2-0 is a dangerous lead. We all know that. And teams that are capable of doing a lot of damage in playoffs, winning championships, top teams in our league, you know, take 2-0 and make it 3. And so that's the storyline for the second half, maybe. Okay, first half was a shoulda, coulda, woulda, but the second half was, did we come out of halftime determined to make it 3-0? That'll be a question I'm looking for on the tape.
Thanks all. We'll leave it.
Yeah, you're always good to go to the national team. I mean, I didn't finish with a good result, but we have the red card, so now I just wanna go home and have a big game for the national team. It's the African Cup qualification, so yeah, hopefully I'm gonna back safe and I can rejoin my team in Dallas. So I'm happy to be back home and yeah, now we're gonna move forward.
This game here, you started out great, and obviously then the second half you're playing with 2. Can you just talk about the 2 halves?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, red card kill us. Well, I don't want to put anything to Leo. It's a team, so
Yeah.
we did very good. Poland is a very good team, so we didn't lose. It's tied. I mean, we should win today. I mean, for me, it's not about result. We're gonna take and move forward. We have a game and we can Dallas, so yeah.
In the last few minutes, you basically were playing left wing. You know, I mean, you were pushed up all the way, and coach said that was part of the plan. Was that to use your speed to try to open up the space?
Yeah, because there was we were playing against 10, so I mean for me it's always good to go forward, have patience. I should to maybe do better to shoot from my right foot. I didn't. I mean, gonna start to improve my offensive side and getting better every time.
You had you had 1 or 2 passes that went in there. You've been working on that, just cutting the ball across?
Yeah, every time I've been working on that since last year, so I think I improve a lot and hopefully I can be more effective offensively and to create more offensively.
What was kind of the mentality of the team?
The quality of our game in the first half to go up 2-0 and then nearly go 3-0. It's frustrating to give that up in the second half. Mistakes, things that we can control that we ultimately gave up. It's just frustrating. But I think the important thing is to know that we at least have some games left. We're still up in the standings, so it's something positive, and I think we just need to keep moving forward and hopefully continue to progress with the game.
When you take this week as a collective, is dropping points today seem bigger than the 5 points that you picked up, or is it you look at more collectively as the 5 points?
I'm always all about the positive and thinking that, those 5 points are crucial. It's important. But yeah, we're obviously frustrated with not coming out of this with 3 points. We had it in our hands, up 2-0, and we go down a guy, and then obviously it's downhill from there. I think it's important that we're able to pull out 90 minutes of solid play, and obviously today was just 45. So we got to improve on that moving forward.
What was kind of the mentality of the team there when you
down a guy, but we can't have these excuses. When we go down a guy, it should be the same thing. It should be going out there and playing up to our potential, moving for each other, still making tackles, and then it just wasn't there today.
You moved up to the midfield there in the second half. How did it feel to move up in that spot?
Yeah, I mean, it felt good. I used to play there before, so been a while, but just trying to help my team and be able to play in different positions and help my team in any way I can.
One thing you guys were able to do was to pass from the back when Portland's high press. Is that a positive you can take a look at?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely confident in the ball in the first half. They weren't really pressing too hard, and we managed to expose them in their half press that they had. But again, like I said, it's something that we need to carry out for 90 minutes and not just 45.
And then just, Coach talked about maybe the start of the second half. You guys didn't start as fast as you did the first half. Was there anything there? Or was it just takes a moment to get used to the second half and start from there?
No, I think that definitely kind of set up our second half for failure. We were sloppy. I lost maybe a ball or two, and that kind of led to the red card. And those things really matter. Those things kind of get you in a rhythm or not, and it obviously showed that we were not setting up our second half for success.
There you heard at the post-game interview, Brian Schmetzer knew who talking a little bit, as I said, about before we went to the break. He's talking about just, the game and everything else, and Alex Roldan. So, the Sounders have 2 more weeks before they play FC Dallas. You were scrolling through your phone and finding out that the Sounders are still in second place, but man, they got a lot of games in hand. So, and Schmetzer talked about, hey, you know what? We're going to revamp kind of what we're practicing from this game. How do you move forward if you're the Sounders here?
It's tough, and it felt like there was a collective feeling in the stadium. You need one more goal, and that was talked about because you knew this rivalry, something weird was going to happen. Red card, 2 goals, boom, you kind of deflated after a great first half. And he talked about keeping that competitive nature in training, whether it's small side football, little mini tournaments just to keep the competitive nature high. Talked about Nuhu going off too. You got Raul going off as well. So keeping it competitive in practice is what's going to help them, because that first half, beautiful. Everybody was talking about it. The excitement was there. The attacking power was there. Raul's scoring was there, which that was a beautiful goal, by the way, off a corner. I've talked about it. I like height in the box and who else, but Reagan gets his head on it, flicks it onto the back post to Raul. That was beautifully done. So not perfect first half, but one of the best you've had all season. Then deflated in the second half. You got to keep the spirits high after something like that, and being competitive in practice is going to help.
Well, interesting enough, the Sounders score off that. It's a classic. That's what you teach 9-year-olds. Okay, hit the biggest person you got. It's also a corner kick. Kick the ball. The biggest guy you got, he's going to flick it. Somebody else is going to run off the back end.
Yep.
So that's how the Sounders scored.
Yep.
Well, flip the script, because that's how the Timbers scored.
100%,
So now the competitive that you're talking about, as Alex Roldan talked about, this is really, and Brian Schmetzer alluded to this. Look, you're up 2-0, and you start the second half, that 5 or 6 minutes, you don't have the competitive edge. You don't have that let me put the foot on their neck type of mentality to ice the game. And so when you do that, as you alluded to, anything can happen, and anything did happen. So the Sounders have to kind of mentally regroup and really, I think it's been something that's been lacking for them all season. They have to have the killer instinct, and they're going to have to find it in the next 10 days before they play FC Dallas.
Yeah, you need it for 90. We've seen glimpses. We've seen, bursts of excitement coming off a big win over Austin, coming home, playing your rival, you go up 2-0. That's everything building just to collapse again. So again, you got to refine that. You got to re-spark it, because it felt like it was there, and the Timbers kind of put water, for lack of a better word, on our open flame.
Yeah, and you got to be a dog. At the end of the day, it really is about putting the game away. So, Sounders 2, Timbers 2. He's Russell Brown. I'm Asfida Mariere. Thank you all for watching and listening.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I got to figure out